All right, we are back with another episode of Wealth Building Made Simple with Susanna Gibb of the Gibb Agency. How's it going, Susanna?
Philip, it is going great.
I am glad to hear. This will air after spring break, and so I have some fun plans for spring break. I'm excited about it.
Oh,
I
nice.
hope all the listeners. I hope y'all had an amazing spring break. Depending on like where you live, if you're in DFW, I think all of our spring breaks is like the 14th that
Yeah,
week.
the 12th, something on the 12th.
Yeah,
And pretty much people listen, if you're going away with your kids, that's considered time off of work. That's not a vacation. Just get it straight in your head. It's different. Just time off work.
just time off work, right? And
Yeah.
is it really time off? If the that's
Yeah. It's
so speak
building memories with your children.
exactly, exactly. So speaking of kids, kids on auto policies, like this for me is happening like at a scarily fast pace. Like my oldest is like 5 years away from driving, and I'm like freaking out because he just was like in mittens as a baby, spitting up, you know, milk.
Mhm.
Golly, it's happening too fast.
We actually ask people when they say they have kids, we write down how old they are. And at about 12, we start talking to people about putting their kids on their auto policy. And because we had so many people that were so mad about it, they were mad about the price. They were like, they couldn't understand how it was so expensive. And so around 12, we start talking to them and going, listen, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be really expensive. So you need to think about how much you love your children now and that this is part of raising them and just set that expectation level because it's bad. It's real
Mm.
bad.
Like it's that like it's real bad. No wonder
Yeah.
my dad was like, "Cool, you can get a car, but you're paying for your insurance." And I was like, Okay."
That is one of the things that we encourage parents to do is it'd be hard for them to pay the whole amount. Like we're talking, it's about $3,000 extra a year plus the cost of the car.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
a kid,
he wasn't even making me pay the whole deal. I think I was paying like 150 a month. So he probably was paying the other, you know, other part.
yeah, but you haven't been a 16-year-old driver in a few years too. So it's gone up. I mean, you're only 29, I know for sure, but
I am 37 and proud.
I love it.
I got gray hairs though.
Yes, we are wise. I'm wiser than you. I'm not telling how old I am, but I am wiser. Anyway, so the kids, yeah, it's really expensive. But we encourage parents to get their kids involved in at least paying a portion of it because if they get a ticket, it's going to go up even more. And so
Mm,
they need to know it just helps. And insurance is so overwhelming and scary in some ways for kids when they hit age 18 and they are expected to really participate a little bit more when they're 26 or whenever it is that they have to start doing the insurance on their own. And the ones that have been involved are just better about it when they come to us as
mhm.
adults trying to do it on their own because it's weird and freaky. So if you can get them into it and make them part of the process and a little bit responsible, it helps them tremendously.
No, no, and I understand because I remember I don't think my brain started functioning properly until like 2 years ago. I remember like I remember turning like 12 and everything is like a haze until 2 years ago, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm back to normal,"
You're back to normal.
but
So
that
the other challenging thing I would say, so the upside is we get calls all the time when kids turn 15. They're like, "Hey, we got the permit. We need to put them on the policy." And we're like, "Well, guess what? You have a year until they turn 16 and they actually get a license for us to have to insure them in Texas. So you've got to get out of jail free card for a year." But we also the other thing that can really affect the rates is the value of the car that you give that kid. Um, and we see this a lot where people, I think they love their kids a lot. And so they get them this brand new Mustang, which is new cars are more expensive to insure no matter what. But the statistics of teen drivers is real bad. Uh, you know, teen drivers are not good drivers.
terrible.
They're just not, they don't have enough experience behind the road. They're not good defensive drivers either. It's especially in the Metroplex. Like you've got to watch out for the other dummies all the time. So it makes it really hard. But don't buy your kid a new car. Or if you do, buy them, a car that has a lot of safety issues, but is maybe not an expensive car.
So this is a question that I know that you're not gonna be able to answer, um, but I'm gonna ask it anyway, just because I'm curious. You might be able to answer it. Like, what about these cars that are, you know, like Tesla, or we drive a, uh, I mean, it's a used, Acura, but it's, only a few years old, and it's able to in advance tell you, like if a car is from back our driveway and the car is down the street coming, it'll beep, let me know because it sees it somehow. Will do those kind of cars maybe help with your rates because they kind of help the kid become aware of what's going on?
They do, but again, it's like if you buy your kid a $75,000 smart car, it still costs $75,000 when they smash into the post.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like a lot of great, the Hyundais, the Kias have a lot of the same safety features.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, I'm it usually doesn't go over well if I try and tell my clients which cars to buy for their kids. They have an idea of what they want to do. I just say, hey, if you buy the more expensive car, it's going to be more expensive to insure. Now, the other wrinkle in that scenario is sometimes people will buy a new car for themselves and they'll give their kid the old car, right? We see this all the time. But on many policies, the rates, the teen driver affects the rates on every single car. If you think about your policy, your car is rated this and your wife's car is rated this, but you're both affecting the rates based on your history and your driving history and stuff like that. So you add a teen driver on there. Well, you may have a Chevy Tahoe, for example, which start in the 60s to $75,000. The expectation is at some point that teen is going to drive that Chevy Tahoe. Or I see people, they're like, I will not let my kid drive my Mercedes. I promise. I'm like, well, statistically speaking, at some point you're going to cave and you're going to let that kid drive the Mercedes, whether it's to prom or it's an emergency or whatever, whatever. And so they rate that teen driver across all the vehicles on the policy. So again, that's something to think about. Don't buy you're like, ooh, sweet, I'm going to get a new car and give my kid the old car. Again, maybe not the best solution.
Yeah. I just think people need to stop driving in general because nobody's watching the road anymore. So I'm just yeah, yeah.
I
It's
just heard a thing yesterday about drones delivering coffee. This is happening right now.
I
And I
believe.
was like, we are that much closer to driving cars. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah, I believe that's why Elon Musk, his his number one goal for Tesla this year is building a robot.
Now, you mentioned Tesla. Oh, yes, robots for sure. I watched another thing on robots in logistics yesterday, and it was crazy. But anyway, back to Elon Musk and Tesla. Tesla is starting to offer their own auto insurance policies,
Yeah, I saw that
which,
in the annual report.
yeah, which is, I don't blame them because you know why? When you get a Tesla, you give up all of your driving information to Tesla.
They have all
Tesla
that data.
knows if you're not driving, Tesla knows how fast you brake, how fast you accelerate. So they're going to give you an auto insurance rate based on how you specifically drive. So as far as an insurance agent goes, it's a little bit uh, troubling because if Tesla's going to do it, Chevy has all the OnStar technology as well. So it's a matter of, am I gonna be out of a job selling auto insurance at some point?
Nah, no.
I don't know. Maybe.
You know what I think will happen? Um, I think the industry changes. I like to use the example of ATMs. When ATMs came out, people thought bank tellers were dead, and there's been more bank tellers hired since then, like by multiples. So just the way things are done is going to change, but you're going to always need people, right?
Yeah, there's a service attribute for sure that I gotta tell you my problem and you've gotta figure out how to solve it. Like a
Yeah,
machine can't really do that.
exactly. Oh, now it's probably going to wipe out it's going to wipe out a bunch of people in home office. That's what's going to hurt a bunch of actuaries. You don't need them anymore. An algorithm can do their job.
No. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, well, let everybody know how they can reach you if they want to get prepared in advance, financially plan. ahead for kids, coming on the policy because
And
I know.
mentally plan ahead for their kids coming on the policy, which is another big part of it. Yeah, you can find us at www.gibagencydallas. That's GIBB agencydallas.com on Facebook, Instagram, and the TikTok.
All right, appreciate. I love it. The TikTok. Talk to you next week.
Have a good one.